Welcome back to the channel, guys. It has been a few weeks between travel and sickness and life and all that fun stuff, but got a great video for you today. We're gonna start it off like every other weekend with my protein pancakes using the P Science protein pancake mix and some protein powder. It is the best way to start your weekend. I got a comment on a video the other day and somebody was like, dude, you're always selling. And part of that is partially true, but also I'm usually in these videos just showing you what I'm actually doing. So the fact that these supplements have a big place in my day-to-day, that's just kind of what it is. But of course, if you want to use code Travis to save 10%, I would always appreciate it. And this is a bit off topic because it's just not a sales video, but as someone that sells for a living, in my opinion, one of the most disingenuous things you can do is try to convince someone you're not trying to sell them something when in actuality you are. Like, you hear it all the time, like, oh, I'm a consultant or whatever. And especially online, oh my gosh, it's the social media salespeople are kind of the worst. They've had no sales training, you can tell. But anyway, let's just stick to pancakes for now. So I'll make Griffin his batch and then I'll make mine at the same time. All right, we are fueled up, we are ready to train, and as of today, August 4th, 2024, I am 10 pounds down than where I was just a few months ago. I am sitting at 163 pounds, and honestly, this might be the best shape I've ever been in my 30s. Now, of course, when I look back to like my mid-20s, when I would say I was at my peak physique, where training was at an all-time high, I was strong, I had a lot of extra time, I had no girlfriend, no wife, no kids, I could dedicate a lot to the gym, and I did. Pretty much every free moment that I had, I spent in the gym. And I think inevitably, when you're like myself, right, where the gym is a big part of your life, you're always gonna look back and compare yourself. So for me, I really have no desire to be in the best shape of my life because at that point, I think it's too much sacrifice. But what I always had a really hard time with is that I felt I just never got back to the level of discipline I once had. So for me, I just wanted to prove to myself that I could stick to a strict regimen again and get to a point that I felt was one of my best physiques. And I think I'm actually there. And the cool part about that is it didn't really take much effort at all. Now, what's great about this process is that it was extremely easy and it didn't take much change at all. It just required me to be a little bit more mindful, so I didn't change my workout routine at all. I still lift 4 days a week. I do the bike 1 day a week, and ultimately I just had to be more mindful about coming out here and getting the workout in, not getting distracted, not making the excuse I'm too tired, just coming in here with a purpose. Anyone that knows me knows that I hate cliches, so it pains me to say this, but when it comes to the gym or working out or bodybuilding or whatever you want to call it, it really is just you versus you. And you can't compare yourself to people online that you see because even a lot of the people that I know, they take steroids or testosterone, they don't tell you, and they Photoshop their pictures. And so you have this kind of false sense of reality. So you are the only benchmark, right? How you looked or felt previously to that. And for me, where I got really frustrated is I feel like ever since I left Ohio, I always had an excuse. I got really busy with my job. I had a kid, and not that that's not going to take away from some of this, but ultimately, I just needed to prove to myself that I still have that level of discipline and that I can still do it. I'm happily married. I have no reason to try to impress girls. I don't go to a public gym. There's no bros I need to look big for. It's just for me. And so I'm really glad that I did it just to kind of flip that switch again, and it feels really good. But I will say, I'm looking forward to some cookies.
I done look a boy, I don't know, just a bullet for. I done look a boy, I don't know.
So while I didn't add in any cardio per se, I did make an effort just to walk more throughout my daily life. So it wasn't something where I'm hopping on a treadmill. It's more just throughout the day, finding ways to get up and move. So I'm averaging about 11,500 steps a day, and I work a desk job, so I'm pretty happy with that. One of the big things is, a lot of times people need your time. They're asking for a favor. They need something from you. That's just how the business world works. So instead of allowing them to control when I take that call, what I do is I wait till I have a gap in my schedule. I'll get some steps, call them back, work through whatever issues that they're having or whatever they need from me. And it's just a great way to get some extra movement in. Of course, I love walking, Alfie. So just by default, doing a few little extra things throughout the day or making it more of a priority to get up and move, I can easily hit my step goal. And I think it helps out a lot. Oh, and by the way, if anybody cares, I'm now 3 months back to using corded headphones because Megan convinced me the AirPods were putting EMFs in my body and doing all types of bad things. I don't know if that's true, but it's a pain. I don't like it. I definitely miss AirPods, but at this point, it's kind of normal again. So I'm just gonna stick with it. Reminds me of the old days, a lot of eating out of Tupperware, and I have not missed a week of meal prep in the last few months. And for me, that is the make or break moment, because when I get busy during the week and I'm hungry, I'm going to eat what is readily available. So being prepared has allowed me to really stay on track. I'll tell you what, I don't think I'll ever get tired of ground beef and green beans. And I've been on a major watermelon kick. When it's 95 degrees, watermelon with salt just makes you feel so good. And you can see the macronutrients for this meal on the screen right here. I would say this is probably the biggest and most important change that I made, and that was going back to tracking my food. And it's just gonna be temporary, just to kind of get myself back in the groove here and hold myself accountable. You've probably heard the saying, what gets measured gets managed. So it's not that I was necessarily eating the wrong types of food. I was making pretty good selections overall, but then I was just adding in all of this random junk because I could, and that's pretty much what it came down to. So ultimately, I didn't change my diet at all, really. I just took out the stuff that wasn't serving me. My overall strategy is keep things as simple and sustainable as possible. Life is complicated enough. You do not need to overcomplicate working out and eating. Stick to the basics, find what works for you in your lifestyle, even if it's not the most optimal, the thing that the influencers are telling you to do, you'll be just fine. The other benefit of choosing higher quality foods is it has forced me to get better at cooking at home. I can't even tell you the last time that we ate out, so I've been living off the grill. And I wouldn't say I'm a grill master by any means, but we're getting a lot better. Alfie, I think we're gonna get stormed on, buddy. Will we finish these steaks before the storm comes? He doesn't like storms, I don't like storms. We'll make it. In case anyone was wondering, I did not beat the rain, and my steaks got very wet, but hopefully not destroyed completely. All right, here's the moment of truth. I had to rush it off the grill, then it got rained on, but okay. For me, that's pretty good, pretty good. All right, back to the product placement, but I swear to you guys, ending every day with 2 scoops of Pea Science protein powder, it tricks my brain, because what was happening at the end of the night, I was just convinced that I needed something sweet. Having 2 scoops of this, it fulfills my sweet tooth, but also it triggers something to my brain that I'm full, I'm good to go. It's just my favorite way to end the night. So try that out if you haven't already. And a final Pea Science supplement of the day is gonna be this Haze sleep product. I absolutely love it. It has helped my sleep immensely based off of my Whoop score, at least, my recovery. So I just dry scoop it like this, mostly so I don't have to dirty up another glass. And that is it. Again, code Travis saves 10% on everything Pea Science. Now personally, I do not want to be below 170 pounds, but like I said earlier, I just needed to prove it to myself. Prove that I still got it. I can still stick to my diet, train hard, do all of these things. I used to do when I was a young little boy and, not using my age or my circumstances as an excuse. So I'll give it a few more weeks, let it ride out. It's not too bad, right? It's not like I'm dying of hunger over here. It's what I've really enjoyed about this process and why it's felt like I haven't had to try, because I just get to the point where I'm comfortable. I'm not overly hungry. I'm not overly full. I'm good. So after this, I'll get into eating a little bit more food and getting back up to a better weight for me. But it's been fun. It's been good. So I would always encourage you all to try, whatever it is that your goal is. Just empower yourself to know that you can do it whatever stage of life that you're in. Do we have to end the video with something so cheesy? Anyway, it was great talking to y'all this week. I'll get back to it next week, and I look forward to talking to y'all then.